I've been in and out my mind since I hit your phone. I've been counting up the times that I did you wrong. I just want you by my side when I get real gone. Feel it's been a little while since we got along, yeah. We've been playing stupid games, the situation rotates. And they say communication, safe relations, okay. Medicated how I'm patient, wasting time ain't the way. Cause I can see it on your face. I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes, you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now? Okay, now hold up. Let me get something right off my chest. I've been meaning to read into it, time to put it to rest. Is it stress? Is it that I ain't answer your text? Don't you treat it like amnesia, you know I always forget. Stirring the pot real hot, watch how the plot thickens. Around the clock, tick tock, need more than 20 seconds to get your attention before it's on to the next thing. And I'm over here again wondering, can I hold ya, hear your truth, pull you closer, talk it through?
Girl, you know that I'm the one that you can come and complain to. Your silhouette's amazing, but your brain is a maze too.
So can you help me find my way while I find something to say?
I know the arguing just augments everything going both ways, but baby, I can see it on your face.
I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes, you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now?
Welcome back, everybody, to week 3 of BGS, or Blitz, sorry, season 2. We are on play day 1 of week 3, and we've got a in-division matchup between TSG Black and Thrive. TSG Black currently 2-0, and Thrive 1-1 after losing to Lycus Empire.
Absolutely interesting one, to say the very least.
Yeah.
I'm joined here by my esteemed co-caster Goose. I've had the privilege of knowing him for a while, but I've never had a chance to cast with him.
Yeah.
My name is Ace, coming back from my little vacation, and I'm ready to get started here in week 3 of Blitz. Goose, what are you expecting really quickly out of this matchup?
I'm expecting this to go 3 maps. If it doesn't go 3 maps, at least both maps, if it is a 2-0, go overtime. I don't exactly know. I want to say TSG Black because they've been on that uphill, and we can go to the divisions to see, how much this matchup really does mean, especially with the overall just divisions as a whole. You can see this is actually wrong. Lycus Empire is above TSG Black by just 1 point because they've won 5 maps, and Thrive is on the bottom. So this is essentially a must-win. If you don't know how the divisions work, the bottom team from every single division is eliminated and does not go into playoffs. So Division 4, out of nowhere, has just turned into the group of death. And if Thrive does not win this matchup, it's going to put them in a very difficult spot because Lycus and TSG are just looking absolutely stellar so far.
Yeah, you've got a really good point there, Goose. As we're getting ready to move on from the standings page here, you gotta hope that Thrive doesn't get knocked out of the bottom, considering they are at the bottom right now. It's really a must-win, like you said. As we're looking here at the TSG Black roster, you got Geek, Goat, Rocks, Scarp, and Slash. What are you seeing from this team right here? Have you had the privilege of looking at this team yet this season, and what are you expecting coming out of TSG Black?
I have casted TSG Black once. Their very first game against Lycus Empire, where they 2-0'd them 7-5, 7-5. Well, not the first game, rather. But just even aside from that, TSG, especially for the players on this roster, which a lot of the time, and this isn't necessarily a shot, it's just a simple fact, is that they've been on that, T4, low T3 scene. So the fact that they've been able to consistently, especially with the backup of their coach, that being Dirty, who's just done up just a wealth of work. It's just very impressive the amount of work he's done in the T3 scene, has really led them to the platform that they found themselves, surprising a lot of teams and just viewers and casters like myself. But now their opponents Thrive, who consistently have been a very solid team throughout all of T3 and even T2. But again, we talked about losing that matchup to Lycus Empire after they finally found that winning formula. We're starting to see them have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point. You gotta hope that they can rebound off of that little bit of trouble they have been having so far. As we're taking a look at their roster here really quickly before we move on, we've got Enrio, Candle, Twist, Moses, and Brios, as far as I know that is how you say that. We are ready to go to bans here, though. The time is talk is practically over, as we are getting ready to look and see that Consulate here is the first map banned by TSG Black, and then Clubhouse is the first map banned from Thrive.
Yeah, TSG bringing out Border is no surprise whatsoever, and then, Chalet on the exact same point for Thrive. And then we go to Bank. Border, Chalet, and Bank is probably the best 3 maps we could have had, specifically for just the playstyles of both of these teams. They're both teams, more TSG that is really great at just simply problem solving. Obviously, Thrive has, more of that, firepower behind it. You just have those more veteran entry players that, you all know, especially with the addition of Brios after Aerial Arise dismantled after Poison's retirement. Again, it really just not necessarily bothers me, but I'm very confused. After, Thrive is a very solid roster, made a couple of changes, adding Brios, that should lead to them being consistently, maybe even moving up to that top 4 spot they've been considered, the top 5, of T2, T3. But after that, roster move, they've had trouble, maybe it's just, settling in. Maybe they just need, a little bit more time. They've only played 2 games, keep in mind. TSG also has. Again, it's just really confusing why they haven't really found their stride so far.
That's a good point. You are bringing up a lot of good things here, but sadly enough, the time for talking is over. It's time to see if Thrive can finally put the train back on the tracks against TSG Black, who've been looking pretty decent so far as we're getting ready to go into the first set of bans here. Thrive banning first as they've elected to be on the defense. We're looking to see a Grim come out here first on the side of the attackers. This is certainly an interesting ban when it comes to going through possibly the side window into Armory, along with the other window and possibly even the doorway over there on the other side of it, as we're looking to get ready to see the next attacker here. I'm expecting maybe a shield. That's exactly what we get. We're going to get a Monty ban. Really quickly, what are you thinking this first defender could possibly be?
This first offender, I'm feeling potentially a Valkyrie. If you don't see a Valkyrie, we're going to see a very strong playstyle being set up from TSG Black. If not, you will more than likely see something going Azami. You know, that not exactly is, you know, what I was talking about, but removing that Azami, removing the capability for Thrive to have those further extensions around the map, that just the security of just having that to keep a barrier up is going to allow for TSG Black just maneuver around the map, especially those entry points like CC. Just make it a little bit easier of a job for them to take it off the board, and then you have Valkyrie being taken off by Thrive.
Yeah, I mean, even though you predicted Valkyrie to go first, Valkyrie ended up going second anyway. The Azami ban being one of the most impactful, no matter what map. I'd like to think she's probably one of, if not the strongest defender currently, even after the recent nerfs she got. As we're getting ready to go here, Thrive on the defense, TSG Black on the attack, just to start us off here on the first map of Week 3. We're going to be going to Armory to start things off.
And, you know, this is, you know, relatively what you would expect, you know, out of a defending team. First map you do see. And we can already see a very heavy roam, at least a solo capability of that roam being brought out by Brios on the Vigil. And then you have a Frost, which is a little bit curious to me, not to say it's a bad choice. You do see Frost prop up and, you know, having more use on border compared to other maps. You know, kind of like her use on Chalet. There's just a lot more windows and spots around the map that TSG Black is not going to have time to drone. So just having that Frost there, especially with her bringing her shield out, allows for just a lot of capability to deny space and then maybe get that, you know, pick that TSG weren't exactly expecting.
Yeah, when it comes to Frost and just border on the whole, I haven't had a chance to cast
Defender has been discovered,
but I do know that Frost can be pretty impactful in the right hands as we're getting ready to possibly see a little spawn peek here. Boss G Brios, he gets Gotox down to 7 health, so you know he definitely grazed them. There's no Pinka on the side of the attack either, so Gotox is going to have to finish this first round with only 7 health. Now Candle over here trying to peek somewhat of the same angle, sitting in security, all nice and tight in the little corner there. Down to 79 health though, I will say, so did get hit by at least half a bullet, so to speak, as Roxy, yeah, I thought it said Roxy for some reason, getting rid of as much utility as possible, if not mute jammed. I'm not quite sure if that one ended up getting mute jammed or not. Either way, taking the camera out, I mean, this has so far been a pretty methodical attack, aside from the fact that they did get picked a little bit by Brios, but it doesn't matter. A slash, first pick off the board, and it's the spawn peeker, it's the Vigil, it's the Boss G off the board early for Thrive, and once again, another kill there on the Candle, and now Thrive is down 5-3 to TSG Black with a minute and 30 left. This is pretty early to be down 5-3.
Yeah, and they just got so much space off of it, and an additional pick is just going to allow them to just play so comfortably. And this, you know, sends the message that Thrive, they understand that they have to play aggressive, and Twist is able to find one over onto East Stairs. That is a great start. Another one for Twist, but eventually Geek is able to shut him down. Now putting us in a 3v2. With just a minute left on the clock, you can see that TSG Black still has not cleared out this CC and break position. And if you look, Inrio still residing here, and he's trying to make sure that TSG Black know that he's here. A nade will just simply miss him, but Slash will miss his shots onto his head as Inrio loses his life, and now it's all up to Moses in the 1v3. Not a whole lot of options. 44 seconds left on the clock. That Deimos tracker will come out, allowing them to know his exact position. He doesn't really have to worry about the Deimos, though. It's the additional teammates to Deimos that he's going to have to worry about. A swing coming over onto B, a couple of shots missed onto him. A swing over into break, and Geek does eventually finish it out as TSG Black take the very first round on attack.
Geek getting it for TSG Black. I'd like to say that Slash on the Deimos was the MVP of that round. You know, it was the pings. It was the excellent use of the Deimos tracker. Deimos is one of the strongest attackers when it comes to having a team around you, especially in a league like this and in pro league in general of some sorts. Slash going back to the Deimos. I mean, I'm trying to say what if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but in a different way. But either way, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Slash already with 2 kills, along with Geek also having 2, as not a singular person besides Twiz getting 2, not a kill on the side of Thrive that last round, as we got 20 seconds left in the prep phase. They're looking to see something a little similar. I will say, though, Brios swapping off of the Vigil and the Boss G, little too predictable, especially after getting Gotox down to 7 health. Gotox actually didn't end up dying that last round either, so yeah, you tried,
5 seconds left
is what I would say, but it's a Legion to me is a little bit more useful unless you're going to get a kill.
Yeah, and that is a very good point. And I think, going back into that round, Brios, just his position, he did get a lot of use. He did apply a lot of pressure. He did, get a lot of damage onto Godox. But eventually, he lost his life. And not only did he lose his life, but he also lost so much map control with it. And it really goes back to the idea that, every pick that TSG does get, there is a plethora of just utility, whether it be space or defender utility that goes down with that player. The fact that TSG is able to just seek out these roamers, these extended defenders so early on and deal with them in just a fashion where they don't really have to dwindle their man count or waste a whole lot of attacking utility is why they've had not only so much success, but a lot of ease on these attacks.
Man, you're just full of good points tonight, aren't you? As we're getting the Lion scan here coming out from Slash. Slash did end up swapping off of the Deimos. I believe they had realized that Brios wasn't on the Vigil anymore, is what I can only assume as the reason why Slash swapped over to the Lion, but Slash so far proving his worth, so to speak, for TSG Black, as Geek we are paying attention to now. He's looking to try to get a little bit of an angle, maybe coming from Metal there, along with the BLITZ. I really have no idea what to say for that name, though. I could have swore I saw a different name earlier. But either way, the BLITZ is slowly trying to walk up, with Gotox being on the Ace now instead of the Ash. A little bit of an angle there from Geek. He knew he saw something, did a little pre-fire, but did end up going down to 72 health. So the defender got the better of him on that exchange. As we're looking at Twist holding a pretty nice little angle here. Got the shotgun. Candle in the same exact spot that he was in last time. Geek looking to possibly try to go back on the same angle he was looking at, throwing both of his smoke grenades now. Definitely gonna be able to get a pick here if he catches someone lacking, so to speak. Slash takes 2 Gumans to the feet, and Brios gets the kill onto Slash. Was just waiting for the right time to strike, as Gotox gets a kill onto Twist. And the diffuser is now planted. Brios gets another one onto Geek, but the diffuser is now down for TSG Black. They're going to need to make this one snappy.
Yeah, 4v3 or 2v4 at that now. We can see Scarp is the one player on the bomb, especially with the player over on Vent. But now with that player gone, it's all up to the BLITZ. But Scarp is not going to be able to finish the kill. As Thrive, they answer back on the exact same bomb site of Armory with a one of their own, after a quick jab plant by TSG Black, but it just simply will not work, and those slow attacks finally have started to creep up and punish them as they lose the second.
Yeah, that is definitely something there, because they I feel like they tried to change it up a little bit based on that previous round versus the one that just happened. You know, they had the Deimos, they had the Ashe. They were going a little bit faster that first round, and they got the win on that one. But then they tried to slow it down, tried to get like a quicker-esque plant, and it just did not work for them. I think Thrive really saw through that right then, and really knew which angles to hold and how long to stay there, so to speak. So it's certainly interesting, as we're now seeing Brios on the Thorn, and Candle is now also on the Bandit. So somewhat same operators, especially seeing the Warden again and the Legion again and the Malusi again. But yeah, I believe that Thrive might be I'm not gonna say paying attention, because obviously they're paying attention, but I think they're catching on to the way that TSG Black might want to continue to attack this map as of right now, especially with the way that they just won that last round.
I really think that's a perfect way to put it. We saw both rounds, especially in that early to mid round, that TSG Black took a lot of time to set up those cross angles right outside the map, right out those entry areas, specifically the balcony over by CC and top east stairs. In the first round, we saw that Thrive was really aggressive, very active in that early round, sometimes even getting too over-aggressive, over-swinging in their positions, and that's what allowed for TSG to get those 2 early opening picks. But the round before, Thrive, they didn't give that away. And when they didn't give that to TSG Black, they didn't do a really good job at seeking out those entry positions, seeking out those defenders and trying to remove them from their positions. We did see a creep up play on metal stairs, but eventually it was just uninformed, no drone in front of him. It was just kind of an individual play that he kind of had to do, because there was no one else really making a move. We already see Thrive especially just very aggressive on this top floor, just trying to deny this space, trying to deny just a whole lot of time off of TSG's Black entire early round for their attack.
Yeah, we saw Candle right there. Candle was trying his hardest to sit in that one spot that he was in for as long as possible. He knew he had to get out of there, and Brios down to 50 health, but Carp, I believe, is down to 17. And there he goes. Brios gets the opening pick. Geek gets one back, though. It's now 4-4. This has been somewhat of an even round so far. Probably one of the more even rounds we've seen so far, even though I feel like they've done a pretty decent amount of trading so far through this match, as we're looking at a minute 20 left, and it's already 4-4. Roxo having to take the Legion out, having to get past that Thorn Trap. I believe there's one Thorn Trap left on the map. Slash just letting it hang, and it doesn't matter. Candle onto Gotox. Slash is now getting that needle out, but I'm pretty sure that Candle should still know that Slash is there on 17 health right beside him. But he's going to go for Roxo, and he's going to get it. Double kill, Candle. Candle almost had another one, but Geek shuts the door on Candle. Geek getting his own 2-piece there. Geek on 69 health. Nice. Slash on 17, as Brios is on 58, and we've got 2 other full health participants left in this round with 40 seconds left. It's 2v3 as of right now in favor of Thrive.
You have 30 seconds left on the clock. Not only are both of these last TSG players so low on health, they don't have any control. They don't even have any drones or an idea of the positions of these last 3 defenders. They simply just have to go for this drop and a split push at that, trying to potentially get these isolated 1v1s. We can see this player cornered in, doesn't know that there was a player over by Passport, and Moses eventually does finish it off. As now, after losing the very first Thrive, they answer back with 2 of their own.
I mean, Thrive are looking pretty good. I was about to say Thrive are looking pretty good so far. I believe at the beginning, toward the beginning of that round, it was a little bit more even. But then Thrive just kind of started to run away with it. They knew that TSG Black didn't really have too much info on them, especially after they were getting droned out as soon as the attack phase had started. As soon as TSG Black could move, they were droning them out, and that gave Thrive the chance to kill all those drones early. And that might be something that TSG needs to look at going forward on their attacks, especially on the next map, whether they win or lose, or even throughout the rest of this right now. But yeah, seeing Slash on the Amaru is certainly an interesting pick, don't you think?
Yeah, I really do think it's an interesting pick. In this entire game, hasn't exactly been interesting for me, to say the least. We're seeing a lot of problems throughout the early round of TSG Black in these previous 2 rounds, and it's simply the simple fact of they can't clear these positions because Thrive are understanding that they don't need to overplay where they're holding.
Exactly.
Saw the Bandit over inside of Fountain. He didn't overswing. He waited for the players to come onto him. Eventually, he did creep up onto the player in Archives. That was kind of a pick where he had to get aggressive, and this is why Thrive has found so much success throughout all the years that these players have been playing, is they can really recognize and read into momentum. They can understand when they need to get aggressive and when they need to start to fall back. A team like TSG that isn't as experienced and, isn't, as experienced with each other, playing with each other as a 5, per se, even with, the heavy coaching staff, they won't really have that experience of how to read into momentum, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these rounds where they simply just cannot get these attacks off when they're not given early isolated picks from the roam.
And that's why you are the intel guy. That was so much, but yet it all needed to be said because it wasn't going to be me saying it. Go Toxin Slash, first 2 kills on the side of TSG Black. Twist and Candle getting some back to make it 3-3. Candle again, double kill. Candle going off as TSG Black planted once again, and Brios gets the kill on the Carp. Oh man, a lot just went down right there. I was trying and then I couldn't. Man, Twist getting the final kill, leaving it a 3-0 as Candle drops a pretty nice set of kills there, and Thrive are looking to run away with this one.
I mean, that was just now the second round in a row where TSG Black read into a defense, an extension from Thrive, and realized that we don't really want to waste a whole lot of time doing a 5 to 4 man push and clear of that top floor, and then trying to clear out these positions. And in order for that, and the replacement that they have found, the replacement strategy that they're using, are these quick jab rushes, whether it be into a position like we saw with the Maru paired with his teammate over in Armory, paired with also the quick jab of just jumping into the bomb site and trying to get that bomb down. With the Blitz, again, keep in mind, just like they did over in Archives when they were attacking it, it's kind of the situation where TSG Black isn't exactly looking for the easy way out, but they're looking for the points of the map where they can get these very quick jab plays off, where there isn't relatively a whole lot of defender utility or defender positions. And this is a problem that Thrive more than know how to fix, and that's why, in my opinion, especially this time, it was going to be so useful because TSG, they can't rely on these quick jabs. They need to start doing these full clears of the extension of the roams, otherwise Thrive is just going to completely shut them down.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say about TSG. I feel like they were trying to recreate the magic from round 1 a little bit when they went up 1-0 on that quick attack. More of a quick jab, like you said. They had it was the Deimos, and then they had a few other operations. They didn't have Blitz, though. That's one thing I do remember. But yeah, they had the Ash as well. I believe they were going in the way that they wanted to go in that first round, and they kind of maybe caught Thrive lacking a little bit, but it only took one time for Thrive to realize this is how they're going to attack. This is how they're going to attack this map as of right now, and it's pretty easy to shut down once you've figured out. I mean, is it? Answer me this, Goose. Is it easy to solve a math problem when you have the answer in front of you? Yes or no?
I have to go with yes.
I'm gonna have to say yes as well. And Thrive are reading TSG Black like a book right now. They are solving them like a math problem, and you're gonna have to hope that TSG Black has something in store for them on defense, unless they can turn it around here, because this is somewhat of a wonky set of attackers that I don't believe we've seen so far. I mean, they had the Thatcher and the Ace. And of course, they love their Deimos / on the Deimos, but I'm not quite sure if we've seen Dokebi yet. Gotox being on the Ash, I mean, that's no surprise as of right now. You gotta hope that they can do what they've been trying to do so far and recreate a little bit of that magic.
And TSG find themselves in a little bit of a situation where, again, we can already see that Slash has been given so much early control over by bottom east and checkpoint. And because of it, he's just going to take that spot. And this is a problem that a lot of teams like TSG that don't have that experience that Thrive do, is when they see easy map control, they go for it. And once they actually do spot the map control that Thrive is residing in, this being over by East Stair, or Middle Stairs rather, into Fountain, they don't exactly want to attack it early. And obviously, you know, getting map control around the map, denying that space, denying for Thrive to expand their already expanded defense is a great idea. But you need to apply pressure, and you can't really do it in that, 30-second mark. We can already see that TSG Black fixing that problem, Geeky getting the very first pick onto Candle, eliminating that dock in a power position is going to allow them to free up so much time and so much space to work with.
Yeah, Candle was definitely sitting in a very important power position over there in servers. He had already used one of his stems. He still had 2 in his pocket, but it doesn't matter anymore, as Imrio is now, I was going to say hurt, but is now down due to Geek getting his double kill. It's 5-3 TSG Black. I think that timeout that they ended up using, in case you missed it, may have paid off just a little bit, but Brios is still in such a good position right now. And Twist just didn't need to run out there. Gotox was waiting on him. And you're now down to Moses and Brios. And Brios, like I said, is in a pretty good power position, or at least was. And yeah, you still got the entire team on TSG Black up right now. I believe that timeout might have awakened something in them. At least I can only hope. As Gotox gets the kill, but quickly gets killed. But it doesn't matter. Carp was waiting. He knew that he was there. And he takes this one for the side of TSG Black. Hopefully reigniting their flame and getting them back into the game.
Yeah, and in my opinion, one of, if not the most important factors of this TSG roster is their coach, Dirty. The simple fact that they have a coach is just wild, because if you're not very familiar with how Amateur Siege work, the T4, which TSG Black is coming from, into this, T3 scene, or I guess you could say setting of this Season 2 of Blitz, you don't really see a whole lot of T4. T3, or even a lot of teams, especially in Element 3, the last T2 event for Rainbow Six Siege, a lot of teams didn't have a coach. So the fact that you have a set 5 of players in a T4, T3 scenario that not only stay together, but also have a coach that consistently works with them and just on their entire theory of how they want to play Siege is just baffling. In my opinion, they are right now, at least to my knowledge, the only team with a very consistent roster and coaching staff behind them, and that's why we're seeing them play such solid Siege, and why it may be surprising a lot of people.
Yeah, having a consistent roster and a consistent coach who's going to be there, who's going to help you through game days, that's certainly something worth wanting, as we're seeing here. Brios get another pick. He did this, I believe it was round 1. He didn't end up getting anybody. He almost had Slash there, but no one got grazed this time. I believe he left Gotox on 7 health. That was either round 1 or 2. Last time he tried this, and it doesn't matter though. He ends up getting Slash anyway. They were waiting. They knew he was there. They were looking for him. But that's what happens when you put your bean right in front of the bean spreader. Brios gets a nice opening kill for the side of Thrive. Being left on 53 health though, I will say, as the gridlock tracks go down, the ace charges come out. They're starting to try to hopefully get their take underway, as Roxo realized, no, it was Gotox. Gotox realized someone was behind him there and ended up getting punished for it. Inrio gets Gotox, and it's now 5-3 Thrive, 5-2 Thrive, as Brios gets a kill onto Geek with still a minute 50 left, a minute 45 left.
Again, that adaptation from Thrive, the ability for them to read into this TSG attack is just so fundamental. Roxo, he does eventually deal with Candle on this top floor. This top floor has been completely cleared out, or as I thought, Twist dropping down that hatch. Wow. Another kill, a triple in the round for Roxo, the only saving grace for this player. Going absolutely huge. He's going to have to get 2 more. He's going to have to get an ace in this round if he wants to give a little bit of hope, if he wants to tie this first half for TSG. He does have 70 health compared to the 21 of Inrio. Twist, though, on 100. He doesn't have a drone left. Brought a nade trying to potentially clear a player or any utility, but he doesn't even know where he wants to attack from. Default cams still left up, just trying to pre-fire anywhere. It does look like Archives, though, is free. He's going to try and get this bomb down, try to potentially bait a swing from the player. They know that he's over here. He's just hoping that a Thrive player over swings a crossfire now being set up between bathroom and construction. Roxo behind the bomb, trying to get it down, trying to just get any player to react to him. But Thrive, they're concealing themselves. They're playing so good. A yellow ping out could be a pick, but just not enough. But a headshot from Roxo! Now, with 18 seconds left, just a 1v1. He must know that there is a player inside of construction. He just needs to get the kill, but he can't. And Rio shuts him down and solidifies that 4-2 half that Thrive so wanted.
Oh my god. Enrio just saved it. Enrio just saved it for Thrive. Oh man. Roxo almost did it. That would have been absolutely insane. That would have been a crazy highlight to start week 3 off on. But alas, Enrio shuts it down, as Enrio has been known to do. And it's now 4-2 Thrive going on to their attack. Really quickly here, Goose, I do want to ask you, what are you looking for when it comes to Thrive attacking?
Your bombs from being defused by attackers.
What I'm looking for, or rather what I'm theorizing, is there's two possibilities for how they're going to deal with these extended positions and roamers. As I said before, in the ban phase, Thrive is a team that is very structured, but also has that individual entry capability on players like Brios, like Twists. So my question is, are they going to take TSG Black relatively seriously? Are they going to try and pair these entry players like Twist, like Brios together with maybe an additional drone? Or is it going to simply just be isolated entry positions from those players? And obviously, both solutions do work. They do have their success. But as a team like TSG Black, if Thrive do give them these isolated entry positions, they're a team that is ready to take the full advantage and use it as, kind of a deterrent from Thrive.
I like what you're saying, and more importantly, I like what I'm seeing. This is certainly an interesting take. On the side of TSG Black's defense, you've got Carp on the castle, just kind of setting up. I mean, he's in definitely a precarious position, so to speak, but he's trying to make these isolated gunfights become a little bit more common as we progress into this round. And as Thrive start their attack, we're seeing Brios below on the Buck. This is no surprise at all. Candle on the Ying doing a little bit of drone reconnaissance. That's one thing I can say about Thrive. They've been known to take a few drones out. Let's see if they can actually drone themselves. And so far, they've been doing a pretty good job, as Candle already has a little bit of info on a few different whereabouts. Enrio also got a cam in a absolutely perfect spot. And it's a Brava cam as well. Just eyeballing Geek as he's trying to peek over there toward that doorway. Slash also sitting in security as... Yep, that's exactly what happened. Enrio gets a kill onto Gotox. Slash does end up getting the kill onto Brios from the angle that he was sitting on. It was a pretty nice power position he was sitting on there. And he's still there, as we see now. Looking to try to peek Twist. Twist down to 30 health. Slash down to 50. Slash is docked though, and he just docked right back up. As we're seeing now, Moses was downed. Not quite sure when that happened. I didn't catch it. But Moses is now back up. So it is still a 4v4. It was a 4v3 there temporarily. Twist still on 30 health. Moses also now down to 20 with a minute left. Oh. Carp trying to hop in on Twist. That wasn't going to work. Well, other way around.
50 seconds left on the clock. Enrio trying to potentially catch a player over in Archives off guard. Geek potentially over swinging, but Enrio, if he can catch this player off guard, he just needs to get the kill. He does. Another one followed by Moses, but Geek finally able to deal with that player in Fountain. Moses still all the way over in Brink, still needs to enter the building. Just 26 seconds left on the clock. There's little to no opportunities in this round.
Beeper
He
going on.
has a ping from his drone.
15 seconds remaining.
But TSG Black, they understand that they don't need to overswing. They understand they just need to sit in these positions and thrive. They're not trying to move, but Candle with a huge swing. He eventually does deal with Roxo. Geek trying to get aggressive, trying to potentially find a player. He doesn't even know where they go. Wow. He gets a couple of shots, but it's not enough onto Candle. The bomb does go down. Geek now in a 1v2. Moses still low on health. This ace charge now going out is going to remove that wall, is going to remove that safety. Geek trying to get onto the bomb. He doesn't seem to be aware of Moses' position. But looks like he's going to get on the through the wall. But some shots from Moses. He knows he's there. He's seen this play 10 times out of 10 when it happens. And Thrive, they shut down their very first attacking round.
Now, if you're asking me, Thrive had that from the beginning. Thrive looked really nice there on that attack as they're inching closer to map point. Yeah, they looked really solid on that attack. I liked what Candle was doing. I liked what Twist was doing. Even though Twist definitely should not have peeked Carp while he was in that funky castle setup that he was in. He was just sitting there waiting, and he ended up getting his... He's good for one, at the very least, with that crazy castle setup he was on. As it's now 5-2 Thrive. We've got 30 seconds left in the prep phase. This is just your standard stuff here. Certainly interesting here to see TSG Black on the defense, of course. They've got Slash now, doing his best Brio's impression, or at least trying to. And then Roxo on the Mira. Can you tell me something interesting about Mira on downstairs on this map specifically?
I really love Mira on Bathroom and Archives, simply because it just not only opens up an entire new line of sight for the defense, but also it eliminates the space taking for the attack. You see this Mira over by the hatch in office. You're not going to be able to simply just waltz in to top east, because you have to deal with this Mira, whether or not be pushing the player out of it or just using an Ash charge from Brios to get rid of the Mira itself. It's kind of a situation where TSG is allowing for Thrive to know what he just hit no scope through the ceiling, and Candle's there to shut him down. They somehow have taken this position and they didn't even know that the Mira was there. Overextending that Ash charge will get rid of the Mira, but still 2 players upstairs almost over swinging into Candle, and this Thrive attack is moving so fast that TSG, they're not prepared for it.
No, they're not. No, they are not. Thrive, they're doing their absolute best right now. They're doing it a lot faster than they have been, as Gotox does take Moses down, I will say. I'm not quite sure if TSG Black were prepared for it, so to speak, but I believe some of them so far have been in the right position to be able to make do with this fast attack that Thrive are on right here. They're looking to be home by 9 type beat, if you know what I'm saying. They're really trying to rush this thing. I feel like Candle's in a really good position here. If I'm not mistaken, they do know that Roxo is back there, going to try to flush him out with a nade. Didn't quite hit him. He's at 50 health, but Geek swings, Enrio swings, Gotox swings. It's now 3-1 TSG Black. I feel like they were in the right position. I just feel like they were in the right position for this really fast attack. It's not something that Thrive had been known to do so far, as it is now up to Brios to get it to map point. Not quite sure how that's going to end up working out for him, as most of the defenders for TSG Black now are back on the bottom floor. They're looking to just rotate back to site, knowing that he only has 50 seconds left. There were quite a few different defenders upstairs. Now they're all back downstairs, so that's exactly the reason why Brios is looking through the floor here. He's looking through any holes he could possibly look through. You got to think they might have an angle on Diffuser, if I'm not mistaken. I think Carp might, through that little hole he had made in the floor. But Brios is just going to wander down the stairs. Nice kill onto Roxo. Brios does have to pause for a second to take that goo mine out, but it didn't quite matter. He's going to go up and get the Diffuser. Easy peasy. Carp definitely must have had his back turned, wasn't watching it, so to speak. He saw him, though. Landed on a goo mine. You got to take that fight there, and it doesn't matter. Gotox ends the round, takes Brios out. I feel like Brios maybe should have stayed focused on the Legion there, but it didn't matter, as TSG Black were seemingly underprepared but overperformed in that round, so to speak, as they make it 3-5, hoping to try to keep Thrive off of map point.
Yeah, and the defense as a whole, not only so far in this series, but just from the previous 2 games that I've watched and casted for TSG, it is really weird because a lot of these defenses, especially here on border for TSG, they do these really heavy extensions where they're prepared to absolutely fight for their lives on these extended positions. And a lot of the times, the rounds when TSG is defending is decided on these or extended positions. Whether or not Thrive is able to clear it out, or if TSG is able to waste enough time and dwindle down that man count. Against a team like Thrive that does really necessarily play into the current meta, TSG playing into this, older meta, I'm not sure if it's, what they just simply feel comfortable as players, or if it's just simply because Dirty is old. It is really curious because, this is a playstyle that Thrive is not used to seeing and not used to attacking.
That's very true. It was certainly interesting to see Thrive try to mix it up there, go for a lot quicker of an attack than they had been trying to go for what had gotten them the wins. They strayed a little too far away from it, if you're asking me, and they are now down. Well, they're still up, but they're down around. It's now a little bit closer to the side of TSG Black, as we're seeing a few complications with Inrio's Bravo drone, only having 1 hack left on that first drone. Slash, though. Wow. Candle live! Candle live that on 17 health and takes Slash out. Slash just isn't as good as Brio's on the Vigil. Pass it on. I said it. I don't care. That's absolutely insane, as it is now 5-4 Thrive once again. Thrive just seemingly always, or at least have been so far for a while now, in a power position against TSG Black, as they are now once again up 5-4. Beginning of the round with only 150 left.
And we can already see that TSG, they're not going to overextend to try and get that pick back and try and compensate for losing that early pick. Again, just playing to this extension upstairs, yet again, relatively similar to what we saw last round. Obviously, it's not the same bomb site. They're going to be over inside of a vent, not the bathroom bomb site. But we can already see that they're trying to make quick work of it. A pick by Goat to answer the very first one, but Brios is there to shut him down. Brios continuing to just be an absolute thorn in the side of TSG. And now a 3v4. Not a whole lot of map control, though, for Thrive. Sure, they did get those first 2 picks, but they haven't been able to fully clear out these positions. Still have Geek upstairs. Roxo rotating over into construction. You have Scarp trying to make his way. Geek does find one, is able to fall back down to the bomb site. Moses eventually does deal with him. Now a 2v3. Roxo trying to make his way, trying to get that backstab, but Inrio deals with him. Scarp trying to get yet another one. They do get the trade, but there's still 2 more attackers left. So Thrive, they will take that map point.
Oh man, he threw the drone at him. What a bait. What a bait. Oh man, Thrive have just been, I mean, if playing with your food was a team, I believe it's been Thrive so far. They did let him have 3. I believe Thrive definitely didn't have their pants on for that first round, so to speak, where they went down 1-0. But other than that, I would like to think that Thrive are just, I would like to think that Thrive just let him have those 2, in all honesty, because it goes right back to what I asked you. If you have the answer to a math problem right in front of you, I would like to think that you're going to write that answer down and you're going to get it right on your test. Thrive have definitely been reading TSG Black like a book. So far, TSG Black has had a few bright spots, so to speak. Do not get me wrong at all. I'm not hating. Swear. I'm just calling it like I see it. But yeah, TSG Black has had a few bright spots, especially that first round where they called Thrive lacking a little bit. But yeah, Thrive. This has been Thrive's match to win ever since, I'd like to say, like round 3 probably. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see 7-3 right here. I know someone in the prod call a little earlier called 7-2. So they were pretty close, especially if Thrive ended up taking their last attack.
Yeah, and on paper, this is how this matchup should and should have gone. Regulation win for Thrive. They are a team that has just always been in this amateur scene. They've been so consistent. Obviously, that loss to Lycus does, at least for now, seem like a hiccup in the road that they continue to walk on. We can see an extension from Scarp here. Again, really isolated. We've seen early on in this round, sure, they do use a lot of defender utility. It doesn't matter, though. Scarp can play all alone if he wants to, because he's able to just completely sneak away with Candle's head. Losing that Finka early on, losing that capability to regain that health isn't going to lose a whole lot, but losing that body will mean a lot. And we can already see the phantom pressure after losing that first initial pick is starting to creep up on Thrive, as they're not exactly aware of where these defenders may be playing.
Yeah, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Carp is good for at least one in that funky castle setup he's got. He's shown a different style of play when you catch him in that little corner castled off. I mean, he's putting isolation right in front of them and saying do something with it. And they hadn't been able to, and still technically haven't, especially after Candle getting picked off early right there. That's one thing I can say. Carp on the castle and that weird little setup, along with just playing their strengths, and I'd say one of their strengths is having a lead. So far, from what I've seen, it didn't matter. Ignore everything I just said. Brios is nasty. Brios is nasty.
What an absolute nice shot, to say the least. But it doesn't matter, because Scarp, he finds a second all through the smoke and darkness of that answer from Brios. And losing that ace is going to deal so much damage to this attack for Thrive, and on top of that, they lose that bomb. They lose the diffuser. We can already see a player being prone. It seems to be Geek, just waiting for a player to overswing, playing his position perfectly, but Brios gets one. Geek is there. He is more than ready. He finds the pick after using that rat spot to its fullest capability. Again, going prone. Enrio finds one. A little bit of an overswing from Geek. He is going to expose his position. Twist also now rotating over here, but it's Roxo to find Enrio, is now Twist in a 1v2. He knows somewhat of the position of this mute. He is able to get the kill. 15 seconds left on the clock.
He's still got one left.
It's a 1v1. He could, but the shots from Roxo, it goes all the way, and TSG Black, they get a second, as they now put us only 2 rounds away from overtime.
Man, I mean, in all honesty, if it was me, I know I'm nowhere near as good as this guy right here. I tell you what, right now, if it was me, maybe I would have taken that Legion out, backed up, probably looked, surveyed the scene, depending on how much time was left, popped that last Deimos drone, and really made him panic, so to speak, a little bit more pressure on him. But yeah, he swung in there with the assault rifle. I don't necessarily know if that was the right move or not, but once again, I'd like to think that TSG got a little lucky on that. I mean, the way the picks fell, it was a little bit more towards Thrive there, and then it just fell off, I guess you could say. TSG Black they showed me something. They showed that they have a little bit of fight. And they're looking to hopefully take this into overtime. As of right now, I'm still kind of leaning more towards this is Thrive's match to lose, based on what I've seen so far, and based on what I've heard, besides the fact that they lost to Lycus. Yeah, I'd like to think that this still maybe is Thrive's match to lose, but TSG Black, they're definitely proving why they got through the quals, and they're also proving 100% why they're meant to be here.
That's a great point. And, if we're looking out throughout this entire first map so far, a 6-4, even if it ends in a 7-4 for TSG, they have that second map. This is their map pick, keep in mind. So they do want to win it, whether it be in overtime. Obviously, that's not what they, intended on, but a win is a win. A map is a map. It will get you that point. It will get you on to that series point. You can already see just TSG is playing like it's not even. What the hell? Godox, you're not allowed to do that. Just finding a wall bang after that little punch hole. Thrive, there's only so much you can do, but when you have a player that is just casting black magic on you, He can't really fight back, and Godox, he's going to rotate back to his extended teammates over inside a fountain and say to himself, that's more than enough for me.
Yeah, he was good for 2 on that one. That is absolutely insane. That is, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a random wallbang like that. I definitely have never done one. That was absolutely insane. And yeah, they're listening to me, is what I'm thinking right now. They're listening to the cast, and they're saying, okay, so these guys are counting us out, is what I think they're trying to say. Because if they, now I will say right now, if they choke this 5-3, that'd be absolutely insane. Especially off the back of what just happened. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they might be listening to us, guys.
Yeah, they got the comms inside, and Godox with a third for the round. Eventually, Inrio is able to deal with him. Brios does find another. He finds a second, but he just looks away way too early, and Roxo is eventually able to finish him off. And now, TSG, after losing the very first 2 to Thrive, have worked their way all the way up to this 5-7 match point. Thrive now will be taking their timeout, hoping to potentially finish this out of regulation. As TSG, they want to keep this map alive. They want to keep this series alive and push us into an overtime.
Yeah, when it comes to Thrive taking their timeout here, you gotta hope that they're... in all honesty, I don't necessarily know how much Thrive can really be talking about right now in this overtime. I feel like this is, and I want to get your input on this really quickly. I feel like this might be a timeout, strategic timeout used to be a momentum killer. What are you thinking?
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what they're doing. Thrive is a team that, at least for now, to my knowledge, does not have a coach. So they're not going to get the full maximum use out of that timeout that a TSG will. But what that timeout will essentially act as is just, pausing the game. It's a pause button in a multiplayer game. You don't have a whole lot of those. It gives Thrive a little bit of breathing time. You'd see in a lot of those engagements, they just were not aware of the defending positions of TSG. So taking this timeout not only will kill the momentum that TSG has found in the second half, but also will allow for Thrive to just calm themselves, talk it over, get all on the same page. We can see in this early run, in these entry engagements, they're not in the same page. We're not seeing that cohesion that Thrive is known for, and they just, need a little timeout. Just need to talk to themselves and, figure out what they want to do going into what could be potentially our final round.
That's a good point. If you're TSG, you said that TSG has a coach, right? TSG Black has a coach?
Yes.
If you're TSG Black's coach, I would like to think that you're probably telling your guys, hey, look, they're trying to ice the kicker. They're trying to stop our momentum dead in its tracks. They realized they had us in the first half, and we have so far been coming back. I mean, they've literally revitalized their run here, especially on this map against Thrive right now, having it be 6-5. I would like to think that if you're TSG Black's coach, you're like, hey, pause. This is a pause, but it's also a chance for you guys to take a breath, because yes, they might be trying to kill our momentum, but if we keep it all up here, if we keep it all in our mentals, then we'll be okay. And I really hope for TSG Black's sake that their coach said something along the lines of that, maybe not as country and maybe not as stupid as we are getting ready. It's 5-5 here, 2 minutes. They're slowing up their attack just a little bit, I'd like to think, because this time last round they were already in sight, and they had already lost 2 as well. So and I feel like they're slowing it down just a little bit. That might have been what they needed. Maybe they did have a little bit of a talk during that timeout instead of just using it as a momentum killer. Maybe they said, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. You're seeing the Dokebi being used. You're seeing the Twitch being used. I'm not quite sure if this is the first time for Twitch, but either way, you're seeing Twitch be used instead of Brava. This is also the first time I've gotten to cast Mozzie since his little buff, where he now has the 4 pests and the impacts. But impacts were not brought by Gotox. Gotox has a nitro, along with Geek and Roxo having their nitros. Everyone's still at full health. We've got a minute 20. They're not in sight yet, so you got to be thinking that they probably did say, hey, let's slow it down. let's be a little less predictable on how we've been moving so far, because a few of these attacks that they won and a few of them that they lost, they were inside pretty quickly.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
A really great defensive setup here from TSG on top of that. Not really trying to hold that top floor control for so long. You can see Thrive already taking that space upstairs, instead having a heavy extension into bathroom. A missed pick potentially onto Godox. That opportunity will slip from the fingers of Twist now, and not a whole lot of opportunities for Thrive here. They don't have an exact entry point into the bomb site. And you can see with the positions of the defenders, they don't exactly know where they are, or at least exactly know how to clear them out. So Thrive, they're going to be potentially trying to go for a quick plant over inside a vent, but Twist making his way over to bottom metal. They may not be aware, but it looks like he's the player who's not aware. Candle, he's able to find one. Godox does eventually answer it back, evens it out to a 4v4, but only 15 seconds left on the clock. Thrive, they have to answer now. The bomb, the diffuser is down. Moses also goes with it. In Rio, though, Candle rather is able to find one, pick up the bomb. Starts to plant it, but the player above, he could potentially find where this player's planted. He just can't find him in time, though.
It got down.
Candle, he was able to get it off. And now, on top of that, with that bathroom hatch reinforced, Geek, the last player alive, the last hope for TSG, he drops down that hatch. He knows that Inrio has to be playing that position. Inrio, though, he misses his shots. He just needs to swing. And Geek cannot win the gunfight. The SMG-11 simply is just unfavored against the DMR of Twitch. And the momentum, the comeback that TSG so ardently fought for will be shut down by Thrive as they take the very first map, and TSG's map pick at that.
Yeah, that was TSG's map pick. Thrive took it right out from under them, made it 7-5. They take the first one. Like we just said, it was 5-7 Thrive. If you're just now tuning in somehow, that was a pretty nice last round I saw right there. I mean, it came down to the absolute wire. The scoreboard doesn't necessarily show, if you're asking me. I know I did a lot of back and forth type talk, a little bit more leaning towards Thrive in the way that they were playing. But yeah, I would like to think that this was a little bit more even than we might have seen. I don't necessarily know if the scoreboard shows all of it. They definitely played their hearts out today, being TSG Black. Thrive played with their food a little bit there at the beginning. Yeah. They're in the middle. But yeah, they knew how to kill their momentum. They stopped it dead in its tracks with that. And yeah, we're looking forward to the second map here. Goose, is there anything else that you would like to say before we head to a quick break?
I think going into the second map, there were a lot of overall problems for TSG. On the attack, just moving too slow. On that defense, not reading into where their push from the attack was coming from, especially in that last round. They will have a little bit of time to talk it over with each other. And we also will take a little bit of a break before we go onto the second map. Don't go anywhere far. We'll be back shortly.
My city's gonna tell you the tale. Everyone was left in the veil. My time won't come to an end. Take a look around, it's a war zone. The damage is already done. Take a look around, it's a war zone. The damage is already done. Take a look around. And keep your guns high. It's a war zone. It's a war zone. And I'll be fighting for my life, so keep your guns high. It's a war zone. It's a war zone. And I'll be fighting. I'm bad to the bone. Got blood on my knees. I'm bad for my life, I'm fighting. Yeah, I'm bad to the bone. Got blood on my knees. I'm bad for my life, I'm fighting. The ash keep burning down. No, you won't hear a sound. The screaming bottom. bottle to thin. Take a look around and keep your guns high. It's a war zone, it's a war zone, and I'll be fighting for my life, so keep your guns high. It's a war zone, it's a war zone, and I'll be fighting. And I'll be fighting for my life, so keep your guns high. It's a war zone, it's a war zone, and I'll be fighting for my life, so keep your guns high. It's a war zone, it's a war zone, and I'll be fighting.
I've been in and out my mind since I hit your phone. I've been counting up the times that I did you wrong. I just want you by my side when I get real gone. Feel it's been a little while since we got along, yeah. We've been playing stupid games, the situation rotates. And they say communication, safe relations, okay. Medicated how I'm patient, wasting time ain't the way. Cause I can see it on your face. I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now? Okay, now hold up. Let me get something right off my chest. I've been meaning to read into it, time to put it to rest. Is it stress? Is it that I ain't answer your text? Don't you treat it like amnesia, you know I always forget. Stirring the pot real hot, watch how the plot thickens. Around the clock, tick tock, need more than 20 seconds to get your attention before it's on to the next thing. And I'm over here again wondering, can I hold ya, hear your truth, pull you closer, talk it through?
Girl, you know that I'm the one that you can come and complain to. Your silhouette's amazing, but your brain is a maze too.
So can you help me find my way while I find something to say?
I know the arguing just augments everything going both ways, but baby, I can see it on your face.
I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now? Welcome to reality, there's no way back. 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 Welcome to unrealization. We can prepare to kill the operation. It ain't fair, but I feel like we're the nation. To raise the flag and do the preparation. Welcome to reality, there's no way back. Welcome to reality. Can't fuck with that.
fucking beeping after aliens. We on top of the world, we the sapiens. Do you understand massive complication there? Do you really think you know what I'm made of? My flow is so magical, I'm old, call me Gandalf. You can shine, but I'm about to go off. Follow me, wanna believe what I'm saying, but I cannot do this at all. Welcome to reality, there's no way back. 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 Welcome to reality, there's no way back.
This is how I like it.
Welcome back, everybody, to week 3 of Blitz Season 2. That's a whole lot of a mouthful of words. But if you're now just joining in, we are in a best of 3 with TSG Black versus Thrive. Thrive, thank you. And you just slipped up there a little bit. Thrive, 1-1. This is a match they so needed and took the very first map of Border 7-5. TSG's map pick, keep in mind, and now what could potentially be our last and final map of Chalet, that being Thrive's map pick. They're looking to end it all right here.
Yeah, Thrive picking Chalet. And just in case we have a decider, just in case TSG Black does end up getting this one, it's going to be Bank as the decider. I almost said Border, but I was looking at Border there, as Thrive has already taken Border 5-7, and we're getting ready to roll on in to Coastline here. Not Coastline, Chalet. I haven't seen the map Coastline in so long.
Oh, thank God. Thank God it's not in the map rule anymore.
Rolling on into Chalet here. I have a little bit of personal experience casting Chalet. So this is certainly going to be an interesting one, as TSG Black has their backs up against the wall in this one.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect word. Backs up against the wall. Losing their initial pick is kind of a situation where you're already starting to see this TSG formula have, cracks, have faults. And, in the previous matchups, you see a semblance of that. But both their matchups being 2-0, leading them to, overall 2-0 record, their best of their first best of threes, we didn't really see them be fully tested. I think it's the very first matchup where TSG is being tested up against a team of the caliber of Thrive, and that is just so important, not only for them to, obviously see their mistakes going forward later on in the group stage into hopefully onto playoffs, but also as a team that is going to be growing throughout, just forming the team, growing just through getting that experience, going up against a team against Thrive, especially having success. They did when it was a very close 7-5. It ended in a 1v1 that probably couldn't have gone either way because it was a DMAR versus SMG11, but nonetheless, you can see that TSG is making Thrive really fight for every round, every pick, and every piece of map control that they get.
That's a very good point. You saw TSG were definitely put up against a better, I guess you could say, team in Thrive here, and they fought their hearts out, ended up going 7-5 towards Thrive as we're getting ready to roll on into the bands here. That was perfectly timed. We got TSG Black attacking first, Thrive defending first here on the map of Chalet. Goose, can you quickly remind me whose map pick this is? This is Thrive's, right?
This is Thrive's, yes, correct.
Okay, gotcha. So Thrive's map pick here, they're looking to close this one out. I personally am hoping they close this one out because I don't want my local Burger King to close. But either way, we are looking to see the Grim banned once again. First ban off the board, Grim. It was just like that on Border. These guys got to have something against Grim.
Yeah, and this is kind of, that idea that Thrive has. They more than likely will ban that Valkyrie again. It's not too common. They could potentially change it up, but Thrive, even like an Aerial Rise earlier this year, is a team that will consistently have the two same bans throughout, no matter what series, what team, what map they're playing, because it caters to their overall play style that they've created that they can really apply to every single map. They don't change their entire attack. They don't change how they play their defense. There's little micro differences, but the overall theory that Thrive has created does really apply to just every single series they play. And so, that's why you do see these bans that will carry on over. That's why you're seeing a Grim ban after the second map. Grim having use of both. And you're also finally seeing that Valkyrie on top of it. And, on the contrary, Brava being banned out, we didn't see that last time from TSG. This is a ban that really goes to just how Chalet as a whole plays. One of the major factors is just eliminating those default cameras inside of the map that just gives so much point of view, especially that fireplace camera. Just allows you to see essentially half of the entire map and one of the major choke points around top mez. So just removing that operator that really curates and really just makes the attack a little bit easier on Chalet.
As many bombs as they can.
That's very true, actually. But one thing I can say, this could be somewhat of like a pinpoint ban coming out from the side of TSG Black. Now, hear me out, Bruce. Hear me out.
Okay.
There was a lot of Brava played on Border right then from both sides. But who had the most success? If you're asking me, I believe it was probably, I think it was Moses, or no, it was Inrio.
Yeah.
Inrio was on a lot of Brava last time. And if you're TSG Black, maybe you saw that. Maybe that was something you talked about during the intermission. Like if we can get a very intel-heavy attacker off the board quick, fast and in a hurry, then Brava definitely might have been picked specifically against Thrive here, as this is the first time in my almost 4 months of casting that I have had a chance to cast a Sins, one of my personal favorite operators. Very underrated, but also very overhated, and also very easy to counter. All 3 in 1. Certainly interesting, as we're seeing Geek already down 75 health. Geek also now knows that there is that a cap can? Yeah, that was Twiz running off the back of trophy stairs there. Twiz is now rotated all the way back down. Enrio on the Oryx, doing a little bit of foot patrol, as Moses trying to make sure that window stays closed. Twiz right there in front of the window and survives, somehow getting the headshot onto Gotox. Candle getting a nice little Boss G on to Geek. One Boss G to another. Candle wins that one. Wow. Moses and Rio both get a kill. Slash, however, another headshot. Slash gets a double kill onto Moses, but it didn't matter. Twiz takes Slash out with a headshot, and that round went by super quick. Can you tell me what you saw? Were you looking in different angles than I was? 'Cause that happened so fast.
I really loved that round because both play styles of the teams were just completely contrasting each other. You had Thrive having that very aggressive roam with the Vigil, the Oryx, and then I'm not exactly sure of the third defender. It kind of has crossed my mind. Capcan, yes, the Capcan, yes, the Capcan on top of it, yeah. And it put it in a situation where TSG then came out bringing that, as you talked about, that Sens paired with the Amaru and the Ying. Hexbook, if you see those 3 operators, they're going for a rush, whether it be on that extended position over by Solarium and Master, or the site itself. TSG chose the latter going into the site. But the problem with a team like Thrive is they are a team that is not only ready for those quick attacks, they set up an entire defense that allows them to quickly go back to site, retake the position, but also we just didn't really see TSG do a whole lot of taking map control to then support that execution. That's why we saw Thrive just taking back the positions and then just shutting down that plant because there wasn't enough due diligence. They didn't drone out the positions. They didn't have enough map control to deny that retake from Thrive. And it's kind of a round where they didn't necessarily get lazy, but they could have done a whole lot more to put themselves in a better situation.
That's very true. You saw a lot of roaming on the side of them as Slash gets quizzed out early. Twist on the castle, had all of his barricades set up. Luckily, Candle does still have a frost mat in the back pocket. That is certainly something to look forward to if you are a attacker. As we're seeing Gotox throw in a few different, well, actually just one Twitch drone in there, still having the other one in the back pocket. I believe Brios is in a really good spot. Candle, however, going down to 20 health. I don't quite know if he got shot through the window or from below. I believe it was from Geek right there, actually, who had shot Candle. So yeah, Candle down to 20 health, Twizzed off the board. TSG Black looking pretty good in their second attack. I believe Thrive just kind of had their number on that last one, especially on the attempted rush plant. As wow, Slash, what a nasty upside down repel kill on the Candle. 22 health, no more, as Candle goes down with 1:30 left. Everyone else is still on full health except for Gotox, who took a little bit of gunfire there early. Gotox also has no more Twitch drones in the back pocket. Something to pay attention to. All of the defender utility is out. Geek has not used a single crossbow bolt. Gotox goes down to 60 health. Brio's down to 51 with 1 minute left. It's still 5-3 TSG Black there. They're looking good, but half of them aren't even in the building yet.
No one will be at this top blue position, allowing for Scarf to just reside. Take this position and set up a cross paired with his teammate of the Twitch. And now Thrive, they're starting to be choked. They're starting to be pushed into this bomb site. A player at bottom blue, though. Moses looking to potentially play spoilers, but it's Brios to find the very first on to Geek. 30 seconds now left on the clock. That 6th man for the defense is starting to wane in the favor of them, but Slash, he finds a triple. That being onto Inrio. He also has a ping onto the player inside of Keg, but Brios shuts him down, and still Thrive denying TSG from this bomb site. And a huge flank from Moses!
Wow.
It's Brios to finish it off. And yet again, another retake and backstab from Thrive, as TSG continue to struggle on even trying to get a hold on this round.
Oh man, TSG were in such a good position, but if we had replays, now would have been the perfect time, because that flank was absolutely flawless. That was the perfect type of flank to go on. You had Brios sitting behind the bar doing what Brios does, and that's get kills, by the way. Yeah, just an absolutely perfectly executed roam, perfectly executed flank. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you read about, right? That's the kind of stuff you see in the fairy tales and the storybook endings of how majors are won and stuff like that. I mean, I know we've got Montreal coming up. Montreal did just start. These teams are nowhere near that, don't get me wrong, but that's something you would see. That was so perfectly executed to keep Thrive in this, and to keep Thrive up 2-0 now, actually.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, and going to your point about, obviously they're no team that is competing in Montreal, but one team that a lot of people may be familiar with, CL4L or X-Makers, competing now. And now that they've essentially left the amateur scene, that has left a little bit of a gap for these teams like Thrive to fill. And as a whole, the entire landscape of Amateur Siege and T3 has kind of reformed. Players and teams making changes, reconstructing, seeing brand new teams been making so fast. It allows for teams like TSG Black to come and fill those gaps that we're trying to start to see in this reconstruction period. It allows for them not only to grow as a team, but also start to win, start to find some success. Speaking of success, though, TSG not having a whole lot of success in this map so far. Thrive playing very reserved in this early round. Candle, though, trying to still find a player over on this double, but TSG, no player will be in this realm, no opportunity. And right now, it's Candle just all alone by himself.
That's one thing I can say. TSG Black, if they were to lose this right now, I believe that they have so much room for growth based on what I've seen. And you're not wrong when you say a team like Thrive could definitely step up and take CL4L's place in some way, shape, or form, considering they are now in Montreal and competing. I believe they competed today. So best of luck to them, as that nitro kill could have been nasty. But Gotox taking Moses down, Twist quickly taking Gotox down, though. Keeping it even, keeping it calm. Everyone take just a second to breathe. You've got a minute and 17 on the clock. That was perfect, absolutely perfect use of Geek's Firebolts, and that's perfect use of Geek's Para 308 as Geek takes Twist out quickly, shifting it back to a 4-3. TSG Black have been on top before when it comes to man count, and that doesn't mean anything. Like I just said, it's 2-1 Thrive now. Where did this come from? Look at all these kills Brios just got.
Brios just completely shutting down those players over by Wine! And he gets a third for all his trouble.
Oh my lord.
If you thought it wasn't enough, and if you thought that 4K or the 2K from previous 2 rounds wasn't enough, Brios continues to just drive this dagger deeper and deeper into the heart of TSG, as they had an absolutely phenomenal opening with that player upstairs, but Brios just barging his way through, shutting down that opportunity. No timeout, curiously enough, coming out from TSG. Dirty saying that it's not exactly the best time to use it, allowing for TSG to try and find their footing in this series, as now Thrive will be going back up to Kitchen to potentially look to further their lead, as TSG, they're looking to just get their foot in the door.
Yeah, if you're telling me that TSG are down 3-0 right now after losing 7-5 the last map. If you're telling me that they didn't use their timeout here, I'm not surprised at all. I feel like their coach has a better mindset than some others. I believe he's coaching this team in the right way so far. I mean, Thrive, we were just comparing Thrive to CL4L in some way, shape, and form, and CL4L's in Montreal. So you got to believe they knew what they were getting into coming into this. They've definitely played really well so far, taking it all the way to 7-5. But, Thrive are a really good team. So you got to take your wins where you can get them. You've got to build your momentum as far and as high up as you can. And I would like to think that if they lose this and it goes down 4-0, I would like to think then maybe the timeout comes out. But as of right now, you see the blitz, you see the zero. They're looking to go a lot heavier on the intel, trying to clear out some of these roamers. I can only assume, as Moses is the only one in sight. If you had not had a chance to see, Moses is indeed the only one on site. So yeah, a lot of heavy roam, but you've got the zero and you've got the blitz for that. So TSG Black have showed a lot of promise so far within the last map and a half, technically at this point. Looking for nothing but improvement on their side, especially if this one is over, but I'm not going to call it over yet because it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, and notably, we're seeing this blitz be brought out by Scarp to potentially apply some pressure, additional pressure aside from just, simply swinging and clearing out positions. But more notably is last map we saw Monty be banned, and this time around Monty left on the board. Still, TSG has chosen to not bring it up in a beautiful little angle from below from Enrio. But TSG just kind of, sipping on that Gatorade, just teasing it for us. But he still finds it. Brios backs it up with an additional one, and this blitz will push back this extended player all the way over into Master. And don't be fooled, this bomb site is not bar. It's all the way in kitchen. You still have cleared out fireplace and top mez, but you still have to worry about this extension and have to worry about Enrio, who still hasn't left bar. Some additional shots onto Scarp, and he can't do anything at all. He's being shots from every single angle, every single direction. Finally, the finish off from Enrio now puts Geek in the 1v4, now a 1v3. 40 seconds left on the clock, and a little bit of typing coming out from Brios, feeling himself throughout this entire series. Geek having a little bit of a slower series, though, but has a potential, even if small, to finally get the first round. But Enrio will force TSG to take their timeout as they fall 0-4.
If there has ever been a player who has been in more of a correct position throughout this entire map so far, and even throughout this entire match, I'd like to say it's been Enrio. Enrio has been, Enrio right now has the second most kills on the team, and I'm not quite sure where he ended on that 7-5, but yeah, Thrive forcing TSG, literally forcing them to use their timeout here, going down 4-0. There was a reason why Thrive picked Chalet as their map pick, and they're absolutely 115% proving it to us right now.
Yeah, and we talked about in the previous round of how much would it take for Dirty to call that timeout. And if you're just joining us, Dirty is TSG's coach. But that 4-0 is one of those marks where the momentum is all in Thrive. Out of these 4 rounds, even in the one where they're attacking basement, there wasn't really a point. There wasn't a situation where you can say TSG was in a very favorable position. And the problem that has really started to creep up for TSG is, obviously you can say the drone economy, or they're not doing their best at, managing it. A lot of drones are being denied and shot out by Thrive, and obviously they're just not using it to the fullest potential, even with the drones they do have. But even, taking away the drone economy and the use of it, just the capability to identify where this entire defensive setup is being held, where these positions of these isolated roamers are, we're just not seeing it whatsoever from TSG. That's the main thing that's really coming out. Obviously, not using your drones to their fullest capability does remove a lot of factors that can, put you in a great position as an attack. But the fact that they, individually as a team and players cannot read into this defense has just been punished to them, and it's absolutely been a poison for their attack.
That's very true. That's very true. But so as of right now, the past is the past. Geek down to 6 health already. What are we doing? Brio's down to 5. Who has more health? It's Geek. Only by 1 though. I mean, this is. I was gonna say that the first map was Candle versus Slash, and that's a lot of what we saw. But it's been Geek versus Brios so far in this one. I mean, Thrive may be up 4-0 right now, but Brios has been a thorn in Geek and the entire team's side so far, showing as to why he's the best thing since sliced bread for this Thrive team, as Twizzed is on 50 health, we're seeing now. And they're looking for somewhat of a solar push as the bomb is upstairs. Nice little angle there. Speaking of Slash, if I'm not mistaken, he might know that Twizzed is there, but Twizzed is not gonna move. Now he's moving, but he's on 50 health. I think he got clear of the window pretty well. Candle had hopped out somewhere. Candle's now back inside, or back inside, so to speak. Brio's still on 5 health, rotating back upstairs maybe, but Gotox takes Candle out. Hold on now. Gotox was on Candle's tail that entire time, especially when he jumped out. That could have been a huge nitro. Moses gets a kill onto Gotox. Roxo gets a kill. Back onto Twiz though. The 2 least health players, 5 and 6, are still standing. Geek and Brios.
Very great opening round for TSG. May I say, one of the best they've had throughout this entire map of Chalet. Still, Geek so low on health and not really being able to definitively take any map control based off of those first 2 picks. And it's kind of a situation where we're starting to see the semblance of that slow attack from TSG. We can also see a little bit of that phantom pressure still waiting for a potential jump out from a player. In this top floor control still in Thrive's control, still just trying to push these last 2 players out, but Thrive, they're not giving up any of this control. 30 seconds now left on the clock, and they still have not been able to make their way anywhere close into the site. Geek does find eventually Brios, but the prone is able to get rid of that ace, but Scarp does eventually finish him down, and Geek finishes off Moses as TSG find their first on the attack and finally make their way into Chalet.
TSG definitely found their footing, I believe. Not necessarily sure if this is going to continue. Hopefully it will, for the sake of the game, for the love of the game. But yeah, Thrive definitely took their foot off the gas just a little bit right then. They need to lean back up and they need to get ready to lock in again. Bringing the old catchphrase back out. Yeah, Thrive definitely can't let TSG Black get any more momentum, because we've seen it once already. TSG Black, they thrive, wink wink, when having momentum. Yeah, they absolutely thrive in it. They love it. If they can build any sort of momentum, they will ride that wave all the way to the end. And it took a momentum stopping timeout from Thrive to really keep TSG Black at bay, especially once they got their feet under them. So it's going to be interesting, to say the absolute least, now that we've seen TSG Black get their feet underneath them, making it 4-1 instead of 4-0, as the attack phase has now begun. The attackers are moving. Geek trying to make sure that there is no sorts of funny business. Gotox also heading up there, presumably with a Claymore. Nope, Gotox has breach charges. Never mind, I lied. Geek doing what he does. He's getting that wall open with Roxo, of course. And just like that, basement wall is open. Roxo helping drone out Gotox, making sure library is clear, and it's not. They saw Omai, they saw Brios. And yeah, Brios is definitely not one that you want to be the one that you see on cams, because either you're going to swing him and you're going to win, or you're going to swing him and you're going to lose hard.
And we see again just Brios. Not only has he just had a heavy presence on this run, but he's just continued to reside, not giving up this space. Moses also in pair with his teammate of controlling map control all the way over in kitchen. Very spread out and isolated. And if TSG are able to definitively seek this out and identify this, they could potentially get 2 early isolated picks relatively free. Not a whole lot of presence or support onto Moses' position. That Ram Boogie Drone coming out will simply just be a little bit of a sound call. Not a whole lot been given. They will open that window. And that's about all they will get for it. Apply a little bit of pressure onto this player. But again, just TSG just so scared to really act on any point of the map. They do finally find him. Candle also upstairs denying this jump in. The very first 2 kills though, Slash and Godox. They find Brios and Candle taking them down, and this now forces Moses to react on his position. He can't just stay here, but it's Inrio to find the very first for Thrive. Shutting down Godox on that swing, but 2, 3 players coming up these stairs to try and deal with Moses. It's just not enough. Eventually, though, Geek does finish Moses off. Now the top 2 floors completely cleared out. Now just up to Twist and Inrio on the bomb site. Inrio's so low on health. But also, TSG, that time is starting to dwindle into the favor of Thrive. Inrio, Twist rather, up on these top stairs, but they knew he was there. It doesn't matter though. Roxo loses that gunfight, and we can see that Geek taking an isolated gunfight, trying to find an answer. He finds the head onto Twist. Now it's all up to Inrio. 20 seconds left on the clock though. He can just play the time. He can just force these isolated swings. He may see the player. He does. He shuts down Slash. Now it's just all up to Geek. An SMG secondary battle. 5 health. And it's just enough. Geek finds it as TSG find their second and end their half. 2-4 going on to the defense.
Well, we did a lot of math in the last one, in the last map, and I just want to run this by you, Goose. I don't want to alarm you or anything. But 12 is sometimes better than 11, as we saw the SMG 12 get the clutch there over the SMG 11. That was certainly an eventful round, though, wouldn't you say?
Oh, this entire game has been eventful. Obviously, you know, Border was, you know, a little bit more, you know, crazy. You know, those kills, just the individual plays that we saw from, you know, both teams. We see there's a semblance of that here. But TSG able to come out of the woodworks with 2 rounds, and after losing 4 rounds, 2-4 half for attack on Chalet is exactly what you should expect throughout all tiers of Siege. So, you know, it's not like TSG are in a very bad position, you know, especially after losing the very first 4. You know, 2-4 is, you know, what is expected. Obviously, they would prefer more, but now they get to fall back onto the defense, and questionably, they choose for their very first bomb site, this basement bomb site. If you know are not very familiar with competitive or pro league Siege, this basement bomb site has kind of fallen out of orbit on, you know, overall pick rate, just not really the more favorable. The top 3 bomb sites statistically are a little bit better, so TSG already making a momentum change onto Thrive's very first attacking round.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's why Goose is the info guy. He just spat a lot of facts right there, and in all honesty, I can't find a singular flaw in his game on that one. That was 100% the truth. You've got a really good point when it comes to not really usually going downstairs first. Shout out my girls Ember Eclipse. They love going downstairs first in order to be able to have top control, just like we're seeing here. But it doesn't matter. Candle, nice flick onto Slash, and it's 5-3 Thrive. Have Thrive woken back up.
This is their very first attacking round, keep in mind, and already pushing the momentum onto TSG. Obviously, a very individual play there. Not a whole lot of other work coming from the rest of the Thrive players, but nonetheless, Geek and Roxo, or Scarp rather, it looks like, completely isolated. And it's Twist to get rid of Scarp now. Just Roxo and Geek. Geek identified with this Deimos ping. But the position of Roxo still unidentified. They will fall back down to the site, but Candle with a triple in the round puts it to a 1v5. Geek so low on health. And who it is, it's Brios yet again to shut it down. And a flawless round for Thrive to start out their attack, as now they're just 2 rounds away from finishing finishing off this entire series.
Now, I said this toward the beginning of this map specifically, that Thrive picked this map for a reason. So Thrive threw out their entire bag of tricks, I would like to think, on their defense.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused
And
by
of
attackers.
course, they picked this map for a reason, like I said. So they had strats on defense, but you can't at all whatsoever think that they wouldn't have any strats for attack either. And they executed that, dare I say, flawlessly. They didn't lose a singular player. They played it the exact way that they drew it up. I mean, this is ABC 1, 2, 3 for Thrive right now. It definitely was that last round, and toward the beginning, when they were up 4-0, might I add, in case you are just now joining us, they were doing it then too. They were green eggs and ham all over it. They were just reading them. They were reading them like it was Dr. Seuss. I mean, they were performing their strats absolutely perfectly toward the beginning. They might have ran out. They might have just decided that they didn't want to show any more of what they had at that time to end up making it 4-2. But yeah, absolutely flawless on the 5-2. And yeah, I gotta think that they're not done. This could end up being 6-2. This could end up being 7-2. I'm not quite sure. I doubt that they've shown everything that they have in plan. Maybe everything that they wrote up as of right now. When it comes to their attack on Chalet, I mean, this is their map pick. Like I said, just in case you were just now joining us. 5-2 Thrive. Thrive have really been in the driver's seat. They've really been in the driver's seat. Either way, though, Go Tox, killing Brios. Big name to be off the board. Twiz getting 2. Twiz could have been good for 3, and he was. Triple for Twiz. It's 1-4 now. Thrive. Man, Enrio getting the final 2. They did, like I said, they did exactly what... They wrote this down on paper, and then they said, let's go do it. And I just want to let you know, Goose, they're doing it. They're doing exactly what they wrote. The notes app. Write down on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope, ship it to TSG Black's house. I mean, they're doing exactly what I told you that they were gonna do. They took them to this map for a reason. They're showing us why they took them to this map, whether it be on attack or defense. They dominated the defense, making it 4-0, and as of right now, I can 100% wholeheartedly say they're dominating the attack.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
What more can you say? Aside from
Literally.
I mean, going into this matchup, there were really two options. Thrive were going to continue to struggle against TSG, which has put up a very phenomenal job, especially for what the expectations were coming in. Keep in mind, TSG Black starting their group stage off 2-0 against Lycus Empire, and then 2-0ing wildcard aces after wildcard added Mr. B. Yes, the real Mr. B. And it's kind of a situation, and especially in that matchup, I haven't fully watched it. Nomical told me, and I was like, what? I didn't believe it. And now we're coming up against Thrive. They had, a very slow start against Lycus, losing that 2-0, not even getting a map. And now making their way back here, it just continues to make this entire division, Division 4, just so much closer. Enrio, again, just continues to just batter down the idea that they're here to stay and that their problems have been more than fixed.
My leagues are meshing in my head. If you guys know me on the casting scene, I get around, and I've heard of Mr. B. I just want to let you know that I've heard of him, and that was certainly interesting to see TSG Black do as well as they did against them. But yeah, it's 5-3. It's almost all she wrote here for Thrive. They picked Chalet for a reason. Once again, shout out my girls Ember Eclipse. They picked Chalet for a reason, and 9 times out of 10 they win it. So I mean, Chalet is one of those maps where if you've got something drawn up and you've executed well in scrims on it, as Roxo does, breathe a little bit of life. But yeah, if you write it up and you do a scrim on it and it's successful in scrim, I'd like to think that you're probably going to continue to be successful. It takes a special team to pick Chalet and just dominate like this, because this, and I swear this is the last time I bring them up. Ember Eclipse doesn't always win on their best map being Chalet. And I'm not going to say that Thrive is always going to win on it, but if you take someone to Chalet, then you got to be able to back it up. And they've done more than back it up, as it is now 4-1 Thrive. They're looking to end this one right now, Goose.
Yeah, those opportunities starting to dwindle. There's just not really a whole lot, though. The GG from Moses, but Godox, he stops the tracks in the words. And it's Brios, the player who has just consistently been so great throughout this entire series. Doesn't even need to aim down to finish it off.
Come on.
And Thrive, now winning their second game, removing TSG from even getting a map. No points gained here for today, as Thrive, they get all 3.
Yeah, 2-7-7-5. In case you're just now joining us here at the end, Enrio getting 12 kills on that last one. Yeah, I mean, it was 7-5 Thrive. That wasn't Thrive's map, but Thrive still knew how to work border, so to speak. And yeah, Thrive brought TSG into their backyard and hit them with a good old-fashioned old yeller on this one. 7-2. TSG barely put up any kind of fight. You wouldn't, if you would have told me, if you showed me the stats and said, tell me what the round differential was, I would have said 7-0. So good on TSG Black, in all honesty, for getting 2 on Thrive's map, and getting 5 on their own map. They showed prowess specifically on border, and they showed that they can hang with a team like Thrive, who, might I add, if you're just now joining us, we were putting them in the same category as CL4L, who are in Montreal to an extent. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Thrive showing that they are one of the best teams in this league. TSG Black showing that they do need to, sadly enough, go back to the drawing board on this one. They did take 5 on their own map, 7-5. And then they took 2 off of a really good Thrive team here on Thrive's map of Chalet. But Goose, give me something. Give me something to look at from this one.
Well, I got something very interesting for us all to look at here. Obviously, I don't have the updated standings, but for Division 4, with TSG, Lycus Empire, and Thrive, we have TSG still in first place with 6 points, Lycus in second with 6, and Thrive, even with this win, still in the grasps of elimination with only 5 points. Even with this win, they're still 1 point behind their 2 predecessors. And this group continues to not only be the closest, but the group of death, may I say, with just a lot of potential here. And obviously, there's plenty more game days or plenty more weeks ahead of us for Thrive to potentially work up those standings. But now both TSG and Thrive will reside at that 2-1 position. And, even with this win, a very great win at that, showing us exactly how Thrive should and has played before, still need to do a little bit more work if they want to get from that bottom 3rd spot.
Yeah, if you would have showed me the standings before this one, which you did, I would not have really known how to think about Thrive. But of course, having casted these 2 matches for Thrive here, Thrive showing absolute, just straight up and down LeBron James in them. I mean, they really had that one in the bag from the get-go. They beat them 7-5 on their own map. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. They literally green eggs and hammed them on their map. And then here they are showing them why they're Dr. Seuss, 7-2 in them, straight up and down on the map that they chose. Yeah, this is textbook. I mean, I think we've got enough time for me personally, and I could not cast in this league another day. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't think Thrive are going to be eliminated. I don't think Thrive are going to end last at all. Yeah, and I agree with that point. And, it's either, at that point, it's either going to be Lycus, it's going to be a TSG. And, it's, a marathon, not a sprint as many say. But for tonight, that will be all. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and thank you to our production staff, Nomical and Ace of Toronto, for joining me tonight. We will have yet another game day next week to continue week 3. It's been a great night. Actually, Saturday. I've been corrected. We'll have a game this Saturday in between the major. So make sure you tune in for that. But as of now, have a great night, and we'll see you then.
feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in.